I have a cupboard full of what some people may call junk, but it is the most fascinating junk in the whole world. Like this piece of MDF that was left over from some project, which I know I'm going to use at some point of time because it needs another piece that I'm going to marry it with. So it just has to wait for the piece that it has to marry. I was in Chennai in Feb of 2020 and visiting a friend's in-laws, and there was a house that was being demolished there, and I saw these pillar top pieces there, and I'm like, I want that. So that's how I got this all the way from Chennai, and it has been in my cupboard for 4 years now. And what I plan to do is marry my MDF piece to this piece and create a beautiful home decor accent. So the plan is that I will use this half pillar base as a little stand, and then I will cut the MDF in a jharoka style, and then we simply paint it and do whatever once it's ready. So to make the jharoka shape, the first thing that I'm going to do is use a sheet of paper, fold it into half, and then I'm going to draw half of my jharoka. When you want perfectly symmetrical designs, this is an age-old hack that has been used since centuries. I was at the Museum of Art and Photography this last weekend, and I found an architectural drawing of a little Mughal jharoka with all the flowers and all of that, and the drawing had just half of it. The rest was just depiction. So I'm planning to download that piece and do a DIY with that, but that is some other time. But so yes, so if you see, I'm drawing my jharoka out, and this is how long it takes. You actually take your time and slowly draw. Is one reason why I like YouTube is because you can show work at its pace. So I don't have to speed it up 10 times and I don't know, you get it. Next is to cut it. So yes, I was telling you about my cupboard full of junk. I should probably do a little haul of all the things that I've collected over, I don't know, 20 years that have been either waiting for its partner, or there is a partner and it's waiting for me to convert something. I don't know, maybe I should do a little haul of all the junk that I have, and then it'll motivate me to start making something. So now you see here, my jharoka is sort of taking shape. So the vision is slowly coming to life, and this is what we plan to do, is to sketch the little template onto the piece. I see that it's a little bigger than my MDF, so I'm going to make it a little smaller by folding it and shortening the entire piece so that it fits my board. Another reason why I love doing these things on my own and not getting them done by a carpenter or a handyman is because I'm able to think on my feet and make modifications as I go, which doesn't happen when you delegate the work to somebody else. I know if I gave it to somebody and said, okay, even if I drew the jharoka and told him, okay, do this for me, you'd be like, madam, chota hai, aapka board, bada board lana padega, cut karna padega, and all of that. So, and also the satisfaction of doing something on my own and hanging it up and looking at it every time I pass by that place. I'm feeling proud. It's a feeling that you cannot replace with anything else. So now I am tracing my little shape onto my board using a marker. And again, this is the pace at which the work goes. Slowly you move around, holding the shape down, and just mark using it as a stencil, mark it out. I have a Chola sculpture, a tiny one, a Saraswati, which I know will be perfect to keep on this little shelf. And I got a little, I think it's a Lakshmi Narasimha, gifted by a friend of mine in copper. And they both are about the same size. So I think that'll look really beautiful on these shelves that I'm making. So the idea is to cut this shape out and paint them and fix the shelf onto the MDF board and hang them up. Here I'm starting to trace the next one. Let me know if you like watching these slow paced videos, because it is extremely therapeutic for me to be editing this video and looking at my own video of me doing something, and I really enjoy looking at the details of what I'm creating or what I've already created. So let me know if you like these slow paced videos, or I should keep them very short and very brief. Now that our shapes are traced out, I'm going to use my jigsaw with a wooden blade and start cutting them out. Ideally, you should clamp the piece down onto the table before you start anything like this. But I didn't have clamps on hand, so I am doing the live life dangerously way. So if you're trying any of these projects and you want to try a jigsaw, always clamp your piece down and do it safe. Do as I say and don't do as I do. The jigsaw actually manages to get into grooves and you're able to cut little sections, go around and all of that. So I bought it from, I think, a local vendor for 2,500 or 3,000 rupees. So as a beginner, I wanted to have the non-branded tool pieces so that I get more comfortable using the tools and then can, upgrade to a branded good quality tool. But I've been using some unbranded tools for 10 years now, and they seem to be working perfectly fine, and I don't find it necessary to change them now. You can see our shape is ready. There's a little bit of ridges here and there which I can go back in and cut with the jigsaw, and then I'm going to use a sander to smooth all the edges out. Yeah, this is another unbranded sander that I bought, and it does really well, and it has been borrowed by several people, and it's used, like really used, and then it just continues to work. So I don't have a lot of branded tools. Most of these are unbranded, cheaply available, 2,500 rupees worth, which work perfectly fine. If you notice the sharp 90-degree angle of the board, I'm just chamfering it and making it curved, and just getting into those corners and sanding it away to make it really smooth. So here is the vision slowly coming to life. I'm working on the placement of these wooden pieces, and I had an idea that I have some of these mandala stencils. I could probably use one of the mandalas on top, so when I keep my little idol on it, the mandala is like a halo behind the idol. So here I am measuring both to make sure that they both are in the same place on either pieces, and then I mark the bottom of each. Finalizing the placement of the mandala, and then I plan to do a texture paste on it. I hope you've seen the video in which I'm making the texture paint. I will link it up here. The idea is to have a raised stencil on top of the board. This video is already at 10 minutes, so I'm just going to speed up the process a little bit. I've taped the mandala and now I'm applying the homemade texture paste. This dries in about an hour. Once it's all smoothed out, it's time to reveal. And that looks really pretty. This is why I love raised stencil. It can look so pretty. Removing the excess from the sides. Once it dries, we paint. I'm using a combination of pink and blue. Going to do a pink undercoat and then use a little bit of blue on top for details. The advantage of making two pieces is that the first one you can use as trial, and then once you know it's looking good, then you use the second one for demo. You can see a little sneak peek of what's to come on the one on the left. Here I'm using a little bit of blue in the same with the same brush and just blending it together with the pink. Once it was dry, I applied some gold leaf on the raised stencil of one of it. I also have a video on gold leafing, which I will link above. I wasn't 100% happy with how the first one turned out, so I decided to keep the other one as is. It looks pretty, but to get the gold leaf on top of the raised stencil was such a pain. So I just let one have gold. Now it's all ready. I've pre-drilled 2 holes where the piece of wood is going to be fixed, and just in case for me to know where I need to drill the screw from the back. But before I put the screws in, what I'm going to do is I will stick this piece onto the MDF board with some Fevicol. The first thing to do, however, while using wood glue on Fevicol is to make sure that the piece is absolutely clean and dust free. I've squeezed out some Fevicol on it. I use my finger to spread it out and then just simply place it where I want it to go. Now wood glue is really strong. It is actually stronger than the wood. So I'm thinking once this is completely stuck, it is going to be there like a rock, and whatever I am going to put on top of it is not going to be a heavy piece, so I may not have to use the screw holes and screw it, but we'll see. Right now I've positioned it where I want, and the wood is pretty heavy, so it's not going to go anywhere. I don't have to tape it down, so I'm just going to leave this here for a day. It's been 3 days and this is strong as hell. It's not going anywhere, so I don't think I'm putting the screws in as of now. If you remember this DIY which I did, I think about a year and a half or 2 years ago, I've fixed this wooden sculpture just with wood glue, and there are no screws at the back. You can see it here, and this has been hanging in the living room for over a year, so it's not going anywhere. So I'm thinking I'm going to leave this piece as is, and if it falls out, I'll let you know. This is the little chola sculpture that I want to place on it, and it's pretty light, so I think I'm good without the screws. The next thing, however, is to get a little hanger. These, I don't know what these are called. Let me look it up on Amazon and let you know. I'm just going to fix these with a screwdriver. And once these are fixed, it's time for the reveal. Creating with your hands is very, very gratifying. I enjoyed making this piece. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and let me know if you want me to do a haul of my junkyard. See you in the next video.